Hey, what's up, NFL nerds? We're back with another 2019 NFL prediction. Now, before I get started, I just want to go over a couple of the Minnesota Vikings additions or losses over the offseason. Now, for the Minnesota Vikings, their offseason didn't really stand out to me. I didn't see any major losses or major wins or anything. I know they drafted Garrett Bradbury. He should help solidify their O line a little bit. Um, I know the Panthers were actually looking at him, before the draft started. Um, and he could have been a good option for them as well. But yeah, the Minnesota Vikings ended up getting him. They they got Kyle Rudolph to his extension. But other than that, I'm not really aware of any like huge additions that they made. But I think they'll still do better than they did last year. So let's go ahead and jump into the Minnesota Vikings 2019 NFL prediction. So I had them starting off the season at home against the Falcons. Now that one was a hard game to predict. The Falcons and Vikings are both pretty good and honestly pretty slept on teams. Um, but I felt like with it being at home and um, I feel like Kirk Cousins is gonna have a little bit of a better year with them than this last year. Get a little bit more used to their um, I guess play style. I think the Vikings will win that one, but I could also see it going either way. Um, week 2 at home, well, away at the Packers. I see the Packers winning that one. I see them going 1-1, and I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say they'll win in their respective homes. As you see on week 16, there I have the Vikings winning. Um, so then they will be playing home against the Raiders. I'm not buying into all the hype for the Raiders. They'll be better than they were this last year, but I don't see them beating the Vikings. I know they have Antonio Brown. They got Cleveland Farrell, or however you pronounce his name. They got Josh Jacobs, who should be at least solid with them. Um, I know they got a few other guys, but I don't see them being all that great still. And I see the Vikings taking it. Then they'll be traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears, and that defense led by Khalil Mack and Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson, Akeem Hicks. Very stacked defense, and in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL. Um, their offense is growing a little bit too. I think Tariq Cohen, I think will have a better year too. Um, well, year as well. I know it's not his like second year, but I think he'll have a better year, and I don't think the Vikings are going to beat them in Chicago. Um, then they'll be playing the New York Giants. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I know you're gonna hate me, but it's how it is. It's how it is. Eagles, I still see the Vikings not necessarily scared, but at least a little intimidated to play the Eagles again after that complete blowout in the NFC Championship in 2017. I think it's the NFC Championship. And I think it's just that mentality, and I think the Eagles are going to take it. Then they'll be playing in Detroit for the Lions. I think this one's going to be kind of a surprising game. I I think the Lions have a shot at taking this one. I really do. And I just so happen to think they will take it. Then week 8, I've mentioned before that the Redskins will be a little bit better than people are expecting this year. Especially if Dwayne Haskins starts. But they don't have quite as many weapons as the Vikings do. They both have good defenses and potentially good quarterbacks. But the Vikings just have a lot more weapons. You know, they have 2 very good wide receivers. And I see the Vikings taking it. And then they'll play the Chiefs week 9. Look, it doesn't sound like Tyreek Hill is going to have his suspension. I think it's absolute bullcrap. But I don't think he's going to get suspended. It's not sounding like he's going to have to go through that. And with the Chiefs having him and Travis Kelce, and as long as Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, the Chiefs are taking that one. Then they will be playing the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys are still really solid. And, you know, as you see over here, Cowboys right now are 5-1. And I really hate to give them another win, but I see them beating the Vikings. You know, they're playing in Dallas. I'm sorry. I see the Cowboys taking it. Ezekiel Elliott is still probably the second best running back in the league. I will say I think Saquon Barkley is the best. You know, they have Amari Cooper. Dak should have at least a little bit better of a year. And that elite defense. I'm sorry, I see the Cowboys taking it. Then they'll be playing the Broncos. I mean, that'll be damn near a bye week. And then they'll have their actual bye week, come back and take on the Seattle Seahawks. And at this point, the Vikings are like panicking. They're like, dude, we have to get a position for the playoffs. Like, we have to win these last few games. I think they're going to pull off a win against the Seahawks. I think they're going to pull off the win against the Lions. Sorry, no, they're going to lose to the Chargers. Okay? Chargers are the most complete team in the NFL. Have some stars on offense and defense. I will say this right here. Sorry, Chargers fans, but I think Joey Bosa is overrated. But Chargers will still beat him. They'll be playing at home against the Packers. Like I said before, they'll win that one. And I think by that point, I think the Vikings have so much to try to play for at that point that they will just so happen to beat the Bears. We'll find out later on if they'll make it to the playoffs. So, anyways, guys, that was my prediction for the Minnesota Vikings. Let me know what you would change. Let me know if you agreed with this. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching. Later.